Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Thread. Monday, day number, 38 with no sun?
I don't know, but it's Rosh Chodesh Shvat.
It is.
We're going to have Tu B'Shvat in 2 weeks, and that's really a tipping point on the calendar. You're kind of like headed towards spring.
Oh, yeah?
Believe it or not, yes.
If we're heading towards spring already, this winter has been pretty good.
Well, first of all, I was talking about Eretz Yisrael, number one. Number
Up,
two,
whatever, the Satan.
Al
Tiftach Bela Satan.
There's been no snow. I was driving on the Belt Parkway yesterday from Brooklyn, and you have all that mountain of salt that's ready for the salt spreaders to use on the icy roads. It's just as high as it was about a year ago,
Right.
Haven't used any salt, and there's a tremendous loss of overtime for the sanitation department workers.
Really?
We don't get to, they don't get to salt the Belt Parkway and the roadways, which creates potholes, which creates flat tires, which I had yesterday. You saw the.
You had a flat tire yesterday. We'll show the picture. It was a pretty bad one.
If you want to show the picture, you can show the picture. It's expensive tires on this car. I don't even want to say how much a tire is, but
How much is a tire, Abba?
I don't know. I don't want to say. I said
How much is a tire?
These tires, brand new, they run about $450
For a tire.
And it's just crazy. And this is the second time this happened to me, But this happened in Harlem. Okay, I didn't know where I was.
Well, you were in Harlem.
I didn't know. I knew I knew I was in Harlem, but I didn't know what to do next. Okay, I called AAA.
Yeah.
They told me that I stopped paying membership a long time ago.
Oh, yeah?
What do you need AAA for? My car starts all the time.
Right.
My car hasn't not started probably for 45 years. 45 years ago was the last time I couldn't start my car in the morning. When's the last time you couldn't start your car in the morning because it was too cold?
I don't think ever.
No, you see, you're a young guy. You don't. I'm surprised you didn't say to me, "What? It happens that a car can't start sometimes."
No,
yeah, sometimes a car can't start.
Well, push to start ones, or first of all,
Anytime it's too cold sometimes and it doesn't turn over. That's all. It needs a jump. You know what a jump is? Jumper cables. You know what that is?
I know what jump is. Yeah.
Anyway, those things used to happen a lot, especially when you drove.
So you stopped paying for AAA?
Cars. I stopped paying AAA. I don't know when they would have come anyway. But Genesis, I'm driving a Hyundai, so Genesis has their own road service.
Right.
So I called the emergency phone number. When you lease or buy a Genesis, it gives you 5 years of road service.
Right.
But it was Sunday morning, so they told me to leave a message. I could have still been sitting there right now.
Yeah.
Waiting for them to call me back.
Luckily, you got a new tire and you got here. So let's get to our first story for the day. Obviously, unfortunate news happened over the weekend, Thursday at around 5:30. People started becoming aware that there was a plane that was missing that had left from JFK on the way to Cleveland. And unfortunately, the lives of two pillars of the Jewish community in Cleveland, Ben Chafetz and Baruch Taub, were tragically lost. The plane was found in a wooded area of Westchester amidst trees. Masaskim went. They took care of the scene, and I know that Ben Chavetz's Levaya was Friday, and I think Baruch Taub's Levaya was Sunday morning. And it's tragic. Anytime something like this happens, it's sort of like a grenade exploding, and those who are closest to it get hit with the shrapnel the most. I know, obviously, this affects the entire Klal Yisrael. It affects their families more than we can imagine. But the community in Cleveland is reeling from a loss like this.
Well, we're a small, close-knit community. I would not even say America. I would say globally.
Yeah.
Okay. And when something like this happens, it shakes everybody. It shakes everybody, and of course, it has immediate personal impact on on these gentlemen's wives and their families, and the greater community. And of course, it makes us wonder. Why, number one, which is natural, but secondarily, you have to with a little passage of time, you have to trust in Hashem and try to understand. It's beyond. You have to understand this. That's what I want to say, Nachi. You have to understand that it's not understandable.
Yeah,
it's beyond our grasp.
Someone explained to me. Give a shout out to him. Is Rabbi Dov Oliver. He explained to me. I was in Muncie for Shabbos in Phillipson Shul, and we were talking about this. Because it hit him pretty hard, and he was saying that something that he was told about tragedies in general. He said, we don't know why Hashem does things, and if you were to if someone were to walk into a room without prior knowledge, walk into a room and they see doctors cutting someone open, and they're taking a body out of this woman, and you're like, what are they doing? They're killing this person. But that's a C-section. That's creating life. Right. So this is like that. It's the process of.
It's interesting you should mention that, because it happens to coincide with the transition from the relationship Hashem had with the Avos and the relationship he had with Moshe Rabbeinu. What was the difference? There was a big difference. Rashi explains the beginning of Eber, which we learned last Shabbos, about the difference in how the Ebershter revealed himself to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and how he revealed himself to Moshe. And it was different. You would think that he would have been completely 100% open with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, considering that they were establishing Klal Yisrael, the whole identity of Klal Yisrael. But you see that it was different. And what was one of the fundamental differences? It was explained somewhere. I don't remember where I saw it, but Hashem was trying to communicate to Moshe Rabbeinu that when he said, when Moshe asked him, why, you told me that I should take Klal Yisrael out of Egypt, but now things got worse for them. What are you doing to these? Why are you doing this to these people? So Hashem said, you should just tell them that I am who I am. That's what Hashem said in Hebrew. Right. And what does that mean? It's very hard for us to understand. But Hashem sees the past, the present, and the future as one thing.
All as one, yeah.
It's one. Now, that's impossible for us to do. But to the best of our ability, I'm not trying to excuse anything, but if you could see past, present, and future as one, you would understand a great deal more.
Right.
And be more at peace with the human condition, I think.
So I think that's obviously a work in progress and a spiritual response to this. And I think we should discuss here a little bit, the response at the moment, I guess, the practical response that we have when things like this happen. When something like this happens, when there's a tragedy unfolding and there are messages that are being sent around, I can tell you that I was on a group. I was on not even a group. It was on our family group. Mm-hmm. Everyone was davening, right? Everyone was davening for these two, and you had messages going around even before the plane was found. Confirmed, DOA, confirmed. They already, and the plane hadn't even been found yet, and like when people I just want to say, if you're one of those people that are sending around those messages of confirmed DOA, there's family. There are people who are friends and family of these people. You're sending around that message even before the plane was found, or even before these people were found. You're causing serious harm. There's no upside to you sending out a message like that.
Well, there's a conflict. These people that merchandise, that trade in disseminating information, they're in the news business, and just like everything else in society that really should not be in the Torah community, should not be in the Frum community, is in the Frum community today. That also is also a leak into that type of thing. We're both in the news business to an extent. I've been in the news business for over 45 years. Since I'm 3, and I've been in the news business a long time, and it's different being in the news business in the Frum community, being in the general news business. But sometimes the boat brings a leak. You know what happens? The boat sinks. But there's a different responsibility that comes along with being in our news business.
100%.
And there has to be parameters, and there has to be taste, and there has to be sensitivity. You're not just in the news business the first to rush to the story. In the general media, you rush to the story, you get the story all wrong, and it's okay too.
Yeah. For example, when Kobe Bryant had passed away in that accident, there were many conflicting reports. Both of his daughters were with him. One daughter was with him. This happened, that happened. And the family had found out from news sources what happened. And we have to be better than that. We cannot fall into that trap of our news sources being like the secular news sources, where we're just trying to report stories as fast as it is without confirmation, without and I know I'm not calling out Jewish news websites. I know a lot of them do check with the families, they find out the families found out, then they report the story. But I'm just saying, like, we have to be extra cognizant, and not even the media. It's every individual, every single person that has one of these, that has a phone in their hands, that has the ability to send a message out to people. You have the ability to really, really cause a lot of harm to people by just saying things.
Well, we have to be respectful of the sanctity of life, and that means life that we're living, and that means that if something like this happens and people are no longer living, they have to be respected. The victims have to be respected.
100%.
The families have memories of them now, and of course, there's a tremendous amount of lessons to be learned, and a lot of people are thinking the same thing, but not everything has to be articulated.
Yeah, and we could just speak right to it. I think a lot of people, they say "Oy Baruch Darnemes," and they go, but like a small plane like that, like that's not the story. It was their time.
But everybody's thinking that.
I know, but that's not the story. It was their time. Hashem runs the world, and it was their time. Let's not miss the message. Let's not think, I think the human psyche, or we try to just justify things and rationalize things. Well, this is why something terrible won't happen to me, because I wouldn't fly in a plane like that, and I wouldn't go in a car like that, and I wouldn't do this. That's not why things happen. That's how it happened. That's how Hashem decided for it to happen. But don't try to rationalize it. Don't try to justify it. Just make yourself feel better. You daven, you say Baruch Emes, and you daven more. That's it. You don't have to give a reason. You don't have to put a label and say this is why this happened. But what's the first reaction when someone passes away? How old was he? He was 85. Oh, he was 85. That's why.
We're doing battle with human nature at the same time.
Of course, it's a way. Of course,
and that's a big struggle. So that's something that we struggle with every day. I mean, I know someone that flew in from Europe many years ago, 25 years ago, flew in from Europe, and in the taxi on the Belt Parkway got into an accident, and they died in the taxi. And in Israel they say, because unfortunately over the years there's been many victims of terror.
Right.
Random victims of terror. Right place, wrong time, right place. I don't know how to explain it.
Right.
But they say in Israel that every bullet has a name on it. It's inscribed. For whatever the reason is, it goes back to what we said a few minutes ago, about past, present, and future being in the purview of Kadosh Baruch Hu as being one.
Yeah.
That's not we're not built. We're not built cerebrally. We're not built that way to be able to grasp anything like that.
100%. And I think if anything could be taken from this, obviously you should daven for these families. They should have the strength to move forward. But don't try to give things a reason just because you can't understand it. Just, like the most important words are, I don't know. I don't know why this happened. You don't have to say it happened because of this reason or that reason. You don't know why, and that's fine.
Silence is also good.
Exactly, silence. You don't have to say anything. What else you got?
Well, I mean, going to more mundane things. There's been like a political shakeup in Washington. Very close aide to the chief of staff of President Biden, Ron Klain.
A yid.
Listen, his original name is probably Klein. He didn't want to sound too Jewish, so he made it Klein.
Right.
But Klein and Klein means the same thing. It means small.
It means small.
In Yiddish.
Yeah.
But it depends what your dialect is. You could say Klein. If you speak a regular Litvish Yiddish, it's Klein. If you speak a more Hasidic Yiddish, it's Klein.
It's probably the only term I know in Yiddish, just Kleinekinde.
But it's the same. It's the same name. Anyway, Ryan Klain was very close aide to President Biden. He was his aide. He worked for him while he was in the Senate for many years.
Yeah.
So there's something going on that his chief of staff is leaving, right after the State of the Union address, which I think is happening at the end of February. And the interesting thing is that he's being replaced by another Jewish young person whose name is, what's his name? Jeff Zients. Z-I-E-N-T-S.
I saw Shlomi Zients had reported that he's not. He doesn't think they're related.
Is that the same name? Is that the same name?
It's spelled differently.
Oh,
spelled entirely differently.
His name is, what's his name? His name is, what did I say? Jeff Zients.
Zients.
He guided the administration through its response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But what is he really known for? Zients was the original investor in Call Your Mother, a chain of bagel shops, and remains the co-owner of a bunch of bagel shops in Washington, D.C.
Nice.
This guy, if there's any question about his religion, now that he's the owner of bagel shops, and the bagel shops are called Call Your Mother, so you know where he's at. And by the way, Biden so far is the only president of the last since that has all chief of staffs that are Jewish. So
really,
okay, there's only a second chief of staff, but even Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, Barack Obama all had Jewish chiefs of staffs during their presidents, but not all. They eventually they quit, they resign,
right.
They go on to do something else, they take another position in the administration. But so far, Joe Biden is sticking with the Jews, so to speak. So that was an interesting little tidbit of information I thought I'd like to share. And of course, over in Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu had to fire Aryeh Deri he had two ministries. He was the health minister and I believe the finance minister, if I'm not mistaken. The High Court ruled that he can't serve as a minister because he has a criminal
right, because he's out in jail.
So, but he's still a member of the Knesset, and he's still going to be powerful.
Right.
I don't know why they just didn't. I suspect that he's going to be doing the same exact job, but just going to change the name.
Okay.
Make him chief cook and bottle washer, but he'll still act as finance minister. He'll still act as finance minister and health minister. Because that's just a political game that they're playing. What else do you have? Oh, one more thing from Washington, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The Democrats, the Republicans have the majority in the House, and they're going to appoint members of all the different committees that investigate all kinds of things that are going on in Washington. And so the Democrats are going to appoint members of their committees after the Republicans appoint theirs. And one of the things that Democrats are planning on doing, they want to appoint Ilhan Omar as a member of the Foreign Relations Committee.
Oh, wow. She's great at that,
in Israel. And now Kevin McCarthy has pledged to remove Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee, which Democrats intend to assign her to, a move that would require a majority vote for the full House. That means the full House has to vote to remove a member of a committee from the committee.
You think that'll happen?
I don't know. There's 222 Republican members of the House. They need 218. They need 218 votes.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know who those 218 people are.
I guess we'll see. Well, this morning there was a 2-alarm fire in a 6-story apartment building on Penn Street in Williamsburg. Hatzalah was dispatched. They dispatched ambulances from Williamsburg, Lower East Side, Crown Heights, Flatbush, and Borough Park. Mm-hmm. As of 8:29 this morning, Kol Olam reported to please daven for Rachel Bas Hinda, a patient who was in traumatic arrest from the morning's fire. Mm-hmm. So we should definitely keep those people in mind, keep that name in mind when davening. And the other story that I want to mention is obviously the other day there was a mass shooting in California in Monterey Park?
Monterey, California.
Monterey, California. And the perpetrator had taken his own life. I believe the crime was committed primarily against an Asian sect of people, and it was committed by an Asian.
It was celebrating Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
It was the Lunar New Year. And I guess the victims were all Asian, Chinese, and the shooter was Chinese. And I don't know. I mean, the news is going to fall over themselves asking about motive. Do you need a motive?
Well, I think they had they said, I saw it reported somewhere that the suspect, 72-year-old Hu Kan Tran, he said that he felt like they were saying bad things about him, that they were making fun of him. So the first impression of this crime is sort of it doesn't seem like he was someone who was mentally all there. Right. Well, and it's an unfortunate circumstance of somebody who's not well getting their hands on a firearm and committing a crime.
10 people killed, 10 people injured. And I think it was a second shooting someplace also.
In Louisiana.
Not also in California, same night?
No, in Louisiana.
Also at a same kind of club?
12 people were hospitalized after being shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Any good stories? Do you have anything good?
Well, okay. First of all, it's Yeshiva week. Okay, or as we say,
we spoke about Yeshiva week already.
All right, but we're in Yeshiva week.
This is officially Yeshiva week now.
No, half Yeshiva week. The other half is next week. They separate.
This is Rashi or Taisus?
All the street here in the 5 towns, the streets are empty. It looks like I don't know.
It took me time to find parking. You found parking right now?
It's not like the first day of Yontif or something like that. I was in the bank this morning, right across the street. There's nobody there. The guys were all playing with their phones. They were playing games with their phones, playing Tetris or backgammon.
I don't think people play Tetris anymore. Abba.
Backgammon. They were playing backgammon with some guy in the Middle East. So you could play. You could play backgammon or Scrabble on your phone.
Is that what you do?
No, I don't do that. But I don't have time to do that. I'm not interested in doing that. But I'm saying the streets are empty. You're right. Parking is still a problem.
Yeah, why is parking a problem?
I don't know. Maybe the cars are here from before they left. They just put their. I'm doing a story this week called Yeshiva Week, Coming and Going. It's a great story about. I think it's a great story. I'm still in the middle of writing it. About some people that leave Thursday night. People left last Thursday night to Florida, for example, and what they had to deal with. We know some people. I don't know if you are privy to the story, but they were in the airport on Thursday night for a 7:30 flight. They finally boarded at 8:30. I'm going to give away the whole story, but,
please.
By the time the paper comes out, they're going to forget this, what we talked about. But they taxied out to and the pilot announced we're number 10 for takeoff. You're busy with that.
Yeah.
I was once in a plane. It wasn't Yeshiva week, but I remember it was very windy. It was very windy, and they were using one runway at the airport at JFK. I think we were going to Florida. This goes back maybe 10 years. And the pilot says, we're at number 54 for takeoff. That's the last thing you want to hear.
So what happened to this plane? They're number 10.
So this plane, they were taxiing for takeoff. The pilot said we're number 10.
Not bad.
Takeoff.
Not bad.
But then about 15 minutes later, they started going back to the terminal, they said, because the crew, the pilot and the co-pilot overworked too many hours.
Oh, man.
They had to. So this was a 7:30 flight. At 9:45, they finally returned to the gate, and everybody had to deplane. And then it was a Delta Airlines plane, and they announced that the plane's going to leave tomorrow morning at 11:15, Friday at 11:15, and the luggage is staying on the plane. So one guy said to me that, I don't know, either I'm going to make it tomorrow, not on time for Shabbos, or I'm never going to see my luggage again. I'm not sure.
What ended up happening?
Well, it left the next day, pretty much on time.
11, yeah.
People got to It was a packed Yeshiva week.
Time to spare. You get there probably 2-3 o'clock.
And Shabbos starts an hour later in Florida.
Okay.
All right. Shabbos started around 5:30. So everyone got to where they had to go by 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Right.
But it's a little bit of a harrowing experience.
You want to hear something even worse?
Sure.
I hate to one up your story, but I was perusing the social network last night, and this video surfaced. I don't know, you're laughing. You don't even know what I'm talking about. But this is the most Spirit Airlines story you'll ever hear in your entire life. The pilot gets up there. They're about to taxi onto the runway. They're by the terminal still, and he said that the crew before them didn't inform them that the restrooms on the plane are out of order.
Oh.
So we're not going to cancel the flight, he said. We don't want to cancel the flight. Yeah. What we are going to do is whoever needs to go to the bathroom right now, head to the terminal.
Okay.
And then come back on the plane. And then once everyone's ready, we'll go.
Okay.
I
hope they didn't serve any drinks on the flight.
I don't even know what to say, but you're going on a multi-hour flight with no restrooms aboard. I don't know, but they're not flying for 40 minutes.
They're going to South Africa. It's 15 hours.
No, I'm sure it was a domestic flight. Let's assume it was a 2.5 hour flight.
Oh my God.
First of all, I would leave that plane. I would not go onto that flight. I would not go on that flight.
Because if the bathroom's not working, you don't know what else isn't working.
Yeah, first of all, that's A. I didn't think about that. That's A. But B is so I'm 36,000 feet in the air and you need to go to the bathroom. Now what?
I don't know.
Can we pull over? No.
Oh, so what happened? They took off?
I don't know how many people.
We're far away from that.
I don't know how many people had issues during the flight. Should I pull up the video for you?
Is a video of what?
Oh, the pilot.
I'm making the announcement?
Yes. I gotta can you imagine Spirit?
Post a video.
Let me see. I want to see if I can find it. Maybe I'm making up the whole story as it is. Maybe I'm making up the entire story.
I was in Chestnut Ridge for Shabbos, and a guy stopped me on the street.
Yeah.
So I don't even know who the guy is. I gotta tell you, I love the Daily Thread.
Oh yeah. Someone stopped me in shul also. 1 second.
Maybe it's the same guy.
Now I can't find it. Do you think it happened?
I don't know. What, you dream it? You dreamed it up?
Maybe it wasn't Spirit Airline bathroom.
So let me tell you something else before we conclude, okay?
I can't find the story now.
Okay, maybe they took it down from the internet.
Yeah, I doubt it. Okay.
Let me see what time it is. Okay, let me tell you something else.
Please.
About Yeshiva Week.
You're very obsessed with Yeshiva Week.
I like the whole idea. I like the whole idea. I think someone's gonna write a book about Yeshiva Week or No Yeshiva Week one of these days. Anyway, did you see the letter from Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg?
No.
About Yeshiva Week?
Did not.
We love Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg, and I'm a big admirer of his personally and the Boca Raton Shul, Boca Raton Synagogue. It's just a revolution there in Boca Raton.
Boca Raton or Boca Raton?
I don't know, whatever you want. Boca Raton. So he wrote a letter that the Floridians prepare for Yeshiva Week. Are you listening?
Yeah.
But the Floridians, people who live in Florida all year round, they prepare for Yeshiva Week like they prepare for a hurricane. They go into the supermarket.
They got water, toilet paper.
Stock up on stuff because they know everything's going to be cleaned out. So he wrote in his letter, amongst other things, I don't have it in front of me, but he said that we should be welcoming to the people, which I took that to mean mostly from New York. And he said, when you stopped at a light, when the light turns green, don't blow your horn right away. Give the person in front of you a chance to start.
You're saying that people in New York should be nice to the people in Florida.
Yeah.
Right, because you could be stopped by a red light in Florida and it could turn green and red again and nobody will honk.
Yeah, but in New York you honk right away.
You honk the second it turns green.
I mean, I was in Florida last week, part of last week, and the week before, and I was in a supermarket. I was in Winn-Dixie, and there was a checkout person was very, very slow. And there was a person in front of me, and I was looking over to see how much more stuff.
Yeah.
And the woman turned around to look to see what I'm doing. I said, listen, I'm trying not to act like I'm from New York. I know. I was fidgeting a little bit too much. If you're on a checkout counter in a supermarket in Florida, just stand there and wait.
Or do Instacart.
I don't know. Just stand there.
You know what Instacart is, Abba?
What?
You know what Instacart?
I know what Instacart is.
You do?
Yeah, of course I know what it is. They never send you what you order. They all send you substitutions.
We were at Instacart yesterday. This guy comes to my door with these bags.
Yeah, did he send you what you wanted, what you ordered?
Yeah, I think so. And he said, "This is my first time doing this."
Oh, really?
I'm like, "Oh, welcome to the job." He's like, "I'm a mailman."
Did you welcome him in?
I did not welcome him in.
Anyway,
No.
Rabbi Goldberg writes that you shouldn't honk your horn just as soon as the light turns green.
Okay.
And I think a comedian once said that the scientists did a study of the shortest amount of time that could be measured. And he discovered that the shortest amount of time is when the time the light turns red to green and the guy honks his horn behind you. That's the shortest amount of time ever measured. They start honking, not blowing the horn right away. And Rabbi Goldberg writes in his letter, also, if you're parking and there's white lines, park within the white lines.
It's funny because Rabbi Goldberg is from here. He's from New York.
Yeah, so he knows both sides of the coin, I guess.
He does.
He knows both sides of the story.
He does.
But it's very interesting.
Everybody behave. That's pretty much it. Everyone behave.
Everybody.
And if you're going to shul in Florida, don't block people in. This is not Landau's.
That's right. Everybody. I went. I have to tell you, I went to a Vart last night here in the Five Towns, and there was no parking in the parking lot. It was a big parking lot, and I couldn't find a parking space. There's no parking on the street, and there was no parking in the lot.
Yeah.
And it was raining. So I just parked next to a car. I started like another row. I wasn't blocking
Look at you.
anybody. I wasn't blocking anybody, but I parked next to a car that was already parked. Would you believe it? When I came out to get my car a half hour later, there was 4 cars. I started a whole new row.
Look where you started.
There was 4 cars behind me.
Nachshon Ben Aminadav over here. Anyways, everybody, that's our episode for today. Today, which is January 23rd, Monday, a rainy day. Hopefully it's sunny somewhere where you are.
One of these days it's sunny here.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment on YouTube, and we will see you again tomorrow with another episode of The Daily Thread.